Picture yourself standing in the condiment aisle of a large UK supermarket on a weekend afternoon. The bright lights shine down, and right in front of you is a massive wall of BBQ sauces. The 7 most prominent bottles all share that signature, highly appetizing reddish-brown color. They all make almost identical promises on their packaging, from a rich tomato flavor and authentic oak smoke to the perfect sweetness and a beautifully glossy glaze for your family's weekend ribs or loaded cheeseburgers. You might think any bottle will do because they are just sauces. But behind that beautiful uniformity lies a rather shocking truth, a visual trap perfectly set by the food industry. Let's try a simple test. You would expect the expensive bottle to give you something the cheap bottle cannot, but turn them around and the supermarket logic starts to fall apart. The cheapest bottle in our lineup contains less than half the sugar per 100 grams of one of the most famous American BBQ sauces. Tesco BBQ sauce, a 440-gram bottle, priced at around £1, leads its ingredient list with tomato puree and provides 18.5 grams of sugar and 0.57 grams of salt per 100 grams. Meanwhile, the 510-gram Sweet Baby Ray's Original costs nearly £4. With cane sugar topping its ingredient list, it pushes the sugar level up to an astonishing 41 grams and salt to 2.0 grams per 100 grams. This massive gap in ingredient quality and nutritional profile does not correlate with the cheapest or most expensive price tags on the shelf, as you might normally assume. And surprisingly, the sauce possessing the safest numbers on its label could very well be the cheapest one, sitting humbly on the bottom shelf. Welcome to Basket Verdict. By the end of today's deep dive investigation, you will know exactly which BBQ sauce delivers the ultimate value for your hard-earned money. Which one boasts the most transparent formula down to the exact ingredient percentage? And which 5 bottles are better choices for specific needs? This is not a hunt for a perfectly healthy barbecue sauce. It is a value investigation into what you actually get for your money. Before we proceed to our breakdown and rankings, let us establish the ground rules to ensure absolute fairness. We will apply 3 crucial label traps. First, the serving size trap. BBQ sauces often display very small numbers for a tiny 15-gram serving, so we will standardize our comparison primarily to 100 grams or 100 milliliters to avoid being misled. Second, the smoke trap. Buzzwords like smoky, American style, rich, or classic are merely flavor profiles in product positioning. They do not automatically prove higher quality ingredients or better value. Third, the price per bottle trap. You cannot compare a 300 milliliter bottle for £3 with a 500-gram bottle for £1.40 based on the shelf sticker price. You must convert to the price per kilogram or per liter. According to UK government and NHS guidelines, foods with more than 22.5 grams of total sugars per 100 grams are considered high in sugar, and those with more than 1.5 grams of salt are considered high in salt. These are simply used as nutritional benchmarks, not as a declaration that a product is dangerous. Let's begin with 2 bottles you should think twice about before putting in your basket. At number 7, Sweet Baby Ray's Original Barbecue Sauce in the 510-gram bottle. This is a highly recognizable American-style brand. The packaging and brand story suggest an authentic, award-winning BBQ experience. With a premium price of around £3.95, buyers can reasonably expect more than basic supermarket products. However, the ingredient list begins with cane sugar, water, and tomato paste. Nutritionally, it contains a staggering 41 grams of sugar and 2.0 grams of salt per 100 grams. Both of these figures sit well above the UK's commonly used high thresholds. This does not mean sugar is poison, but if you specifically want BBQ sauce for its smoky tomato profile rather than its sweetness, this formula makes an unusually large proportion of your purchase all about sweetness. Of course, this product is gluten-free, an imported American-style sauce, and comes in a convenient squeeze bottle, but it is a choice to reconsider if lower sugar and salt are your priorities. At number 6, Bullseye Original BBQ Sauce. Featuring an American smokehouse image, this product is sold at Tesco for about £3 for 300 milliliters, which translates to £10 a liter, one of the highest unit prices in this 7-product set. At that price, buyers have the right to expect a richer tomato base, better nutrition, or stronger simplicity in ingredients. In reality, tomato puree is the first ingredient, but sugar sits in second place, with 33 grams of sugar and 2.5 grams of salt per 100 milliliters. The retailer flags both of these levels as high. Bullseye is not bad food. It is designed for marinating, dipping, and drizzling with a distinct smoky style. The question is whether £10 a liter delivers enough extra value compared to cheaper bottles with substantially lower salt. After looking at those two bottles, a clear pattern begins to emerge within the same product category. More expensive does not mean less sugar. The two bottles that fell out of our top 5 are both premium-positioned American-style sauces, yet both have higher sugar and salt content than much cheaper own-label options. Brand stories and high prices do not predict the nutritional profile. On the contrary, tomato being the first ingredient is more valuable than front-label imagery. A low price does not equal poor transparency, and own-label products are currently breaking the assumption that big brand names always buy you a better formulation. Now, things get much more interesting as we move into our 5 better bottles, starting at number 5. At number 5, HP Classic BBQ Sauce in the 465-gram bottle. This is the familiar choice, taking the title of the best familiar smoky pick. At Tesco, it costs about £3.30. Tomatoes lead the ingredients, providing 25.5 grams of sugar and 1.4 grams of salt per 100 grams, with no artificial colors or preservatives. Compared with Sweet Baby Ray's, it has materially less sugar and less salt. Compared with Bullseye, it has a lower unit price and lower salt. The honest drawback is that 25.5 grams of sugar still crosses the general UK high sugar threshold, and 1.4 grams of salt is very close to the high salt line. This is a solid branded option for shoppers who want a familiar BBQ sauce and value a smoky profile, but do not necessarily need the cheapest option. At number 4, Heinz Classic Barbecue Sauce in the 570 milliliter bottle. This is the best mainstream all-round brand, offering a large, safe, and familiar-looking bottle. At Tesco, it is listed at around £3.35. Tomato puree takes the top spot, followed by 29 grams of sugar and 1.2 grams of salt per 100 grams, with no artificial colors or preservatives. What helps it into the top 5 is that its salt is lower than HP, Sweet Baby Ray's, and Bullseye, and the bottle is substantially larger than Bullseye for only a small increase in the shelf price. The drawback is that the sugar remains high, and the use of modified corn flour and xanthan gum shows it is still engineered for commercial consistency rather than being a minimalist tomato sauce. This is a sensible, mainstream bottle for a family wanting predictability and versatility. At number 3, M&S BBQ Sauce in the 500-gram bottle. This is a major surprise because M&S normally signals premium pricing, yet this sauce is listed by Ocado at around £1.40 for 500 grams, which is £2.80 per kilogram. Nutritionally, it contains 29.5 grams of sugar and 0.93 grams of salt per 100 grams, and is made in the UK. Looking at the reality of the ingredients, water and sugar come first, followed by tomato paste at 10%, which means it does not win on a tomato-heavy, minimalist formula. It wins on its very low unit price, comparatively controlled salt versus major branded rivals, and a large household size. If your only criterion is ingredient simplicity, this is not the winner. But when quantity and economics matter for frequent summer meals, This is a highly recommended budget option. At number 2, Essential Waitrose BBQ sauce in the 470-gram bottle. The basic range of a premium supermarket emerges as one of the strongest budget challengers, with recent listings hovering around £1.30 to £1.40. Each 100 grams provides 22.4 grams of sugar and 1.08 grams of salt at 124 calories. The 22.4 grams of sugar is particularly interesting because it sits just under the general 22.5 gram high sugar threshold used in UK food labeling guidance. The ingredients begin with water, sugar, and tomato concentrate, meaning that lower sugar relative to most competitors does not make this an artisan tomato-heavy sauce. However, its combination of a very low price, sugar that is lower than HP, Heinz, M&S, Sweet Baby Ray's, and Bullseye, moderate salt, and mainstream availability rightfully earns it the number 2 spot. And at number 1, delivering the best overall value, Tesco BBQ sauce in the 440-gram bottle. This is the payoff from our opening comparison. Tesco lists this bottle at around £1, which is £2.27 per kilogram. The ingredient order begins with tomato puree, sugar, spirit vinegar, and water. Nutritionally, it contains 18.5 grams of sugar and 0.57 grams of salt per 100 grams, with 112 calories. This product wins not because it is organic, artisan, premium, or additive-free, because it still contains modified maize starch, gums, and flavorings. It wins based on practical metrics: the lowest or near lowest price, the lowest sugar in this 7-bottle lineup, the lowest salt, tomato puree leading the ingredient list, and a size large enough for normal family use. The premium competitors simply do not offer a big enough advantage to bridge that gap. To make your final purchasing decision, you only need to remember these 5 options. If your priority is the budget, the lowest sugar and salt in this set, and a tomato-first ingredient order, choose Tesco BBQ sauce. If you want a balanced own-label option that bridges the gap between ultra-cheap and branded, the Essential Waitrose BBQ sauce is the right fit. If your family uses sauce frequently and in large quantities, the M&S BBQ sauce offers a large bottle at a highly economical price. If you do not want to stray too far from familiar branded staples, Heinz Classic BBQ is your safe choice. And if you place a traditional smoky profile above the lowest price, HP Classic will tick that box. When standing in front of the shelves, apply these 3 simple label rules. Rule number 1, compare sugar and salt per 100 grams, not just per tiny serving. Serving sizes can make 2 products difficult to compare directly. Rule number 2, read the first 3 ingredients. If the top 3 are sugar, water, and tomato, that is a very different story from tomato, vinegar, and sugar. It is not about safe versus unsafe. It is about what you are actually buying the most of. Rule number 3, calculate the unit price. Do not compare a 3-pound bottle with a £1.40 bottle if they are different sizes. Use the price per kilogram or per liter. The front of the bottle sells the barbecue story. The back tells you what you're actually paying for. Sweet Baby Ray's and Bullseye still have a fitting customer base if intense sweetness or a heavy smoky profile is exactly what you are looking for. But if your goal is everyday value with a more restrained sugar and salt profile, you have much more economical options available. Share this with the person who buys the sauces for your summer barbecue, because the most expensive bottle on the table may not be the one giving you the most for your money. Don't forget to subscribe to the Basket Verdict channel and leave a comment letting us know which UK supermarket category you want us to investigate next. Stay sharp, always read the labels, and see you next time.